Hi, I'm Jack, and welcome to Programming in p5.js. I'll be going over what you need to know to make generative art. If you've seen my other videos on this topic, this may be a review. I'll be in the p5.js web editor, and I've made an account to save my work. I'm also going to clear out the code here to make things simpler. The JS in p5.js stands for JavaScript, which is the programming language we're using. I'll be going over the fundamentals of JavaScript, starting with variables. Variables store information that you can use in a program. Creating variable is called declaring. And in JavaScript, we can declare a variable like this: let x equal 10. X is the name of the variable, and we are giving it the value 10. Also make a variable called y. Let's set that equal to 20. If we want to change variable, we can set it to a new value like this, x equals 5. If you want to increase x by 1, you can write x equals x plus 1. You can use plus, minus, divide, and multiply just like on a calculator. For example, if we wanted y to be 5 times x, we could write y equals 5 times x. Often with variables, you want to check their value. You can do this with an if statement. To check if x is greater than 15, you can write if x greater than 15, curly braces. The part in parentheses is called the condition. It's what we're checking, which is x greater than 15. And after we have the curly braces, which makes a block of code. We can put anything in that block, like x equals x minus 10. It will only run if the condition is met, so x will be greater than 15. Otherwise, all the code inside is skipped. You can also add else after the block with another block of code. This code will only be run if the condition is not met, meaning x is less than or equal to 15. Let's write x equals x times 10 in there. Besides variables, there's also an important term called functions. Functions group code together, and you can call them. When you call a function, all the code inside will be run. To see an example, let's make a new sketch. By default, your sketch will have the functions draw and setup already there. Notice that they are written as function setup parentheses curly braces. With a code block, just like if statements, the block of code will only be run if it's called. p5.js automatically calls these. So setup is called when you start the program, and draw is called over and over again to update the canvas, which is on the right, and that's where we draw to. Lots of variables and functions are already available for us to use, and we don't need to write them. So inside setup, we can see that create canvas is called, which sets the width and height of our canvas in pixels. To take up the whole screen, you can replace the arguments with inner width and inner height. Those are variables provided to you, which will be the width and height of our screen. So we're calling this create canvas function with those as arguments. Now to actually draw something, we're going to have to call a different function. I want to draw a square, and I'm going to look at the p5.js reference page to find out how. I'll link this below. Here it is, it's called square. If I scroll down to the arguments, we can see that it takes x and y for the position and s for the size. If I write square 200, 200, 100, we'll get a square at the coordinates 200, 200 with sides that are 100 pixels long. We might experiment with making a square with different arguments. To change the color of the square, we can use the functions stroke and fill. Fill is the inside of the square, and stroke is the edges. I'll make my square filled green by calling fill with green in quotation marks, and I'll make the stroke yellow. You can try different colors, look at the reference page that I talked about before, or in my next video, I'll be going in depth on color in p5.js. Thank you for watching, and I hope you come back for 2 more lessons after this. You can also go back and watch my previous series on p5.js. I'd like to thank Communication Madison for hosting this workshop. And if you're watching before March 26th, there's a Zoom follow-up and you can sign up, and it's linked below.